Yeah. So I hope everybody is aware that what is a front end, back end, and middleware. Here in backend, it is a one middleware are there. So backend, not backend, it is a middleware. You can say front end, middleware, and DB. DB, it is a backend. So the actual what we are discussing about it. Suppose as a developer, we are using some Angular JS, some different version, and some testing onto the different version, and production it is a different version. So what happened when we are as a developer, we are creating code as per the development environment, and we are using a different version. So what happened when we are sending this code into that testing environment, then testing environment has a different version of Angular JS. So what happened? The chances is that that code will not run into that thing environment. So what is the use of it? So it is a creating a issue. A developer will say that in my environment it is working, and testing environment is a tester is saying that no, it is not working for me. An operation team is saying that what? I have deployed same code into the testing environment. Why it is not working? So developer will comes into the picture and he says that I'm using this version, this version, this version. And what is this configuration of this testing servers? So they will say that then he can understand that, oh, this is the problem. And you are doing some different version into here, and you are using some different version are there. That's why it is not working. So who has done this mistake? Operation team. But the problem, who have faced this problem? Developer and tester. Why? Because developer is already created their code and tested from their end, and it is working, and tester is doing testing, and it is that software it is not working. So who is creating? He's blaming to that developers that you are not creating a right code, and developer test in their development environment is it is working fine. So that conflict will come into the picture, that the version they are using on the same, they are not using the same into the both environment. That's why it is conflict will come. So avoiding this kind of conflict, we are using right now in right era, we are using Docker. So what happened? We are not installing manually. We are creating some images, and same images we are using a development environment, a testing environment, and production environment. The chances are human error it is very less. Why? Because we are using same in images into the all three environments. Okay. So first of all, give me a minute. I'll explain something else also. Give me a minute. Yeah. See, what is the application? Application is nothing but collection of programs. Everybody is aware that, yes. And what is the application? Three tiers. So front end, back end. Not a back end. It is a middleware. Middleware. This is the back end. Backend means database. Always backend has a database. So middleware means what? Middleware, web logic. Here we are creating logic. As per the logic, when the request will come, right? Request will come through UI, and it will interact with the middleware. Where middleware we are defining the rules, and rules will send the request to the database. Database has informations like whatever data is available, like suppose inventory informations, payment information, everything is stored in the database. They will check that inventory and will provide the confirmation that yes, this item is available. Again, it send response to the middleware, and middleware send response to the front end. So these are the three tier architecture. So everybody should aware that. So application environment. So first of all, sometimes what happen, people in industry only dev environment, SIT environment, it is the same. Okay, and some company has a dev environments SIT. SIT means testing, functional testing. Dev means only development. SIT means testing. UAT means pre-prod, means before production. It is uh, what it calls. It need to be tested thoroughly. It is a similar environment as the production, like hardware configuration. It is same, software configuration. It is same. Everything, even you can say replica of production. It is called UAT. So similar kind of infrastructure, even though RAM, hard disk, softwares, everything need to be the same in the UAT. But SIT sometimes what happened in development environment are some testing environment, UAT and SIT is the same. But most of the time, what happened after development, we have created one more SIT environment, then UAT environment, and UAT it is similar as the production. So if our application is tested and working fine in UAT, right? So definitely 100% chances that that code will also run into the production. So not pre-production. Only live data. Okay. So what happened in our application will deploy into the multiple environment for the testing. Yes, because without testing we will not provide end user to test. Otherwise, repo will down. Okay. Once the testing completed all the environments, then it will deploy into the production. Production environment means live environment, and the end user will access application from the production. Listen, understand these terminology. Why especially I have explained for that Kasif and Atul. Atul might be is aware of that, but yes, these are that basics of that IT industry. So everybody should aware that. Like live without Docker, what happened when we need to install all the required software into the environment to run the R application. So suppose any environment is there, right? We have to be install all software and all dependencies are right. We have to install that. We need to make sure that we are using the same version. When we are manually we are using, we have to verify multiple times that that version should be the same. If its version should not be the same, what happen? Conflict will come, and so the chances is that software will not run. If any software version is it is not matched, then application execute may fail. So that execution will not happening on the upper environment. Okay, means any environment. 1 minute, I will check that what is the who somebody when the conflict will come right into the picture here, dev are testing to production. So what happened? The conflict will come. Tester will blame on the developer will blame on testing, and operation will blame on both. So what happens? So if we are using this kind of Docker technology, right? Everybody will sync up, and they are using the similar kind of configuration, similar kind of environment for development, testing, and production. Okay, so the chances is that the problem will not occur. So what advantage we are getting? Container, it is a Docker, it is a containerization platform. Docker, it is used to build, deploy our application into the machine without bothering about the dependency. A dependency means what? Dependency means your operating system and softwares, whatever prerequisite library it is required. So it will take a Docker container will take its own whatever it is required dependency, right? It will take their all the responsibility uh, with with container itself. It will take care everything. So and Docker will reduce the gap between the development and deployment deployment team. So the chances is that what happened the conflict will reduce, the time efficiency will increase into that while using, when we are using a Docker. Okay, and everybody, even though every team will get the similar kind of environment, like development and testing and production will get a similar kind of environment. And if anything is tested into the dev, means development environment, testing and production will definitely, it will pass. The chances is very high to pass that application to the all environment. Chances is high. Might be some issue will occur, but the chances is very high that if in one environment it is a pass, means another environment also it will not take much time for the testing. Okay. So what is the architecture? We are talking about architecture now. Before architecture, I want to explain one more thing. Here, as I'm explaining that, here dev environment, SIT environment, UAT environment, production environment, they have some different kind of environment and SIT, right? So definitely the chances is that application, whatever application is developed into the dev environment, the chances is very high that that application, it is not working into this. Why? Because Angular version, it is a different. They are using some higher version, they are using a lower version. Okay, so that is a conflict will come, and here the solution and the virtualization and containerization, the major uh, difference is that virtualization install guest OS in host OS, means whatever it is a Windows, right? It is a host OS. On top of host OS, you have to install a multiple guest OS, and then you have to perform your VM. VM you have to create it, and on top of VM you have to install your applications. But here in containerization, what is happening? Running application in container, and we can create a multiple container in one machine, and performance will fast. Why? Because host OS, after that host OS you have installed Docker, and Docker, on top of Docker you have created a container only. You are not creating a multiple guest OS. It is a host OS, it is a guest OS, and multiple time you might be you have read this kind of terminology here. See, container virtualization can be similar, especially since they are based on the virtualization technology. They are not quite the same. What is the difference? Primary difference, it is a container virtualization operating system and not underlying hardware. Virtualization जो होता है, that is the meaning, they are underlying on the operating system, not underlying the hardware. Okay. जो container, what is that? What is the meaning of it? Means it is not containerize your operating system. Virtualization is here, containerization here. So, and VMs virtualize physical hardware through the hypervisor. Understand? Listen this. Read this statement. Hypervisor means hypervisor virtualize your physical hardware. It is a virtualize your physical hardware, and containerized virtualized operating system means what? They are creating with the help of Docker, right? It will create a multiple machines without guest OS. Here what happened? You have to create your, first of all, infrastructure. On top of infrastructure you have to install operating system. In operating system you have to install a hypervisor. On a hypervisor, with the help of hypervisor you have created VMs. On VMs you have to install a guest OS libraries. On top of it you have to install your application. So that's why that the speed is low. Okay, so you have to be read this kind of what is the difference, and what is hypervisor, what is difference between a hypervisor and normal VMs. You have to be understand that. In an interview, most of the time people will ask that why Container is faster than VMs, normal VMs. Okay. So in here, performance is very slow because it is a guest OS are there, the host OS are there, libraries also installed that, and on VM, right? It will also occupy some spaces and all. Maximum spaces are occupied, libraries are loaded, so many things are there. So that speed of VMs it is very low. And but if you are coming to the containerization not creating VM, they are creating containerization. Okay, and in containerization, on that installable whatever library is very low. It is not install operating system. It is installing images. Images is very lightweight, so that's why the speed is very high. The performance is very fast, and sorry, it can run multiple container in one machine within one machine, right? You can create a multiple container, but here what happened? If you are creating one VM, only one VM means it is available only one application. You are capable to deploy into it with the same version. Suppose some different kind of version application you want to deploy that within the same machine VM1. So it is not possible into the virtualization. But in containerization, because it is a one VM, so you can only create some different kind of images, and with the help of images, you can create multiple containers. Suppose it is a Angular 14, Angular 13, Angular 12. So this kind of application you can deploy within a one machine, but this kind of facility you can't get it on the virtualization. So this is the major things are there. Even you are taking a much time to create a virtualization. Even in industry, you have to raise a request. Then when approval will come, then you have to be your operational team will create the VMs. But in case here, in case of containerization, only image need to be there with the image within a seconds. Within a seconds, not within a minute. Within a seconds, you can create a container and you can test it even though anytime you can delete it also, right? So this is a big advantage. Within a second, it will create it. Within a second, it will destroy when the work is over. So it is not taking a much time. So people will ask that why, where we are using a containerization. So you can say that where the the testing is, suppose it is a big project and chances that within a second, you have a very less time to test on your application. So during that kind of situation, we can use a containerization, and virtualization is very old technology now. Slowly that usage is very reduced right now in the industry. People are shifting to the containerization. So in containerization, many kind of tools are available. Docker, it is a one kind of tool. Rocket is also famous tool, and multiple, even though I believe more than 50 containerization tools are available. But into the market, two very big leaders into the containerization tool. First one, number one, Docker, and second one it is a Rocket. So two containerization tools are available. We are we are going to learn Docker only. Okay, Rocket you can learn with your own if you are interested. How to install that Docker into your machine in Amazon machine. Here yum update -1 update the repo. Here simple one command yum install docker -y means it will install the docker, and you have to check the service. Okay, you have to check the service. You have to create a uh, user and groups into that, and you will check the info docker. So that's it, that much. After executing of this, your docker need to be installed. You have to check that it is installed or not. So you have to trigger one command, uh, Docker hyphen version. If they will provide that version, so that is the meaning that your Docker it is installed. And even though Docker info, if you will provide, right, you will get to see that what is the version you have to install. Okay, you have already installed, so it will provide that information. Docker has a two things: Docker server and Docker client. So it will show that version. I will tell you, somebody open your terminal and open that who means Kasib, you have open your terminal where you have yesterday you have installed something, right? You have to open with on the putty and share a screen. I will tell you that.